Welcome to Outside the Lunchbox, Hunger Collaborative Conversations. I'm John Puder, Director of the Hunger Outreach Program Empowerment Team with Fatal Collaborative on Hunger and Poverty. Joining me today is Betty Teston. Betty, say hello.
I'm Betty Teston, and I work with John. I'm the program manager of the Hope team. John and I have been working together almost 13 years addressing food insecurity and providing those resources and support to the federal nutrition programs. And we want to continue to do this, and we want to focus not only on the school meals during the school year, but let's look at the summer meals.
You know, Betty, it's amazing we've been doing this for 13 years. And so we're using now the YouTube channel as an opportunity for us to share some of the things we've learned over the years in supporting school districts and nonprofits in a whole lot of different areas, but particularly in child nutrition, everything from summer meals to after school meals and breakfast and CEP. But today we're really going to focus in on the rural non-congregate option. And so we want to talk about how we can help rural communities do summer meals programs. Betty, can you share some of the challenges and barriers we're finding?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've been working out in rural communities for a while now, John. And as I visited there, the schools are located in town, which is a big problem because the kids don't live in town. They live miles away. In fact, they depend on those school buses during the school year to get them to and from school. So the summer months, it's really difficult for those families to bring their children into the town each day for a breakfast or a lunch. And so that's why this non-congregate feeding option is such a great program and option for rural communities to try.
You know, you're so right about that, Betty. We see that during the school year, children are eligible to receive a free breakfast, a free lunch, sometimes even an after-school meal if we're successful. But that all goes away during the summer months when schools are closed. And that's why we tend to refer to the summer as the hunger season, because so few of the children that really rely upon that healthy meal during the school year are receiving it during the summer. So we want to figure out a way where we can make sure more children are receiving this great resource throughout our communities. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in that rural areas as far as the summer meal programs.
Well, that's true, John. The families, like I mentioned, transportation is probably the biggest challenge for them and barrier. And likewise, the school staff or the nonprofit sponsor, they have maybe staffing shortages in these rural areas. There's limited space. And so where there's low participation, it's not economically feasible for them to operate a summer meal site. So they get waivers and the children don't have that opportunity to come and be provided a summer meal.
So while there's a lot of different options around summer meal programs, and there are different choices even within the rural non-congregate option, we've seen a lot of success around the idea of multiple meal single point pickup. And Betty, I know you've seen it working out in your part of the Texas. You've seen it in the rural communities. How does that work?
Well, in those qualifying rural communities, both the school districts and nonprofits, they can allow families to pick up multiple days worth of meals once a week for each child. And then the children have that food available to eat at home, and they don't have to drive into town. And just to give an example, a site may have their weekly pickup maybe from 4 to 6 in the evening. They can set what time works for the community folks. And the family would pick up on a Monday, breakfast and lunch for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even the next Monday, all at one time. And this would make it easier for those households to participate in, removing, like I said, having to drive to and from multiple times a day. And then it reduces staff time needed and increases that participation for the sponsor.
So let me get this right, Betty. Instead of having to bring your children in for each meal and have them consume each meal at the site, this option allows that we can have families, mom or dad or whoever, come and pick up the meal for the children for a whole week's worth. 2 meals a day, 5 meals if you're doing a weekly plan. So that's 10 meals per child. Let's say a family has 3 children who are eligible for the program. In one stop, the family can pick up 30 meals at one shot, only having to drive into town once, and you got your kids taken care of for the whole week without having to go back and forth. And school districts and nonprofits can set up some really convenient times so you can pick it up maybe during your lunch break, or maybe they set it up to pick it up on your way home from work. Um, this really is a game changer, isn't it, Betty?
Absolutely. And there's certain requirements, John, they have to have though before they can just do this program, right?
So those big requirements are they got to do three things. One, you really got to be in a rural community. I know everybody would like to use it. We wish everybody could use it, but this is specifically for rural communities. Two, the site you choose and where you're going to do the delivery, the pickup, has to be within a location that has at least 50% of the children eligible for free or reduced price meals. And the third thing is you can't be within 2 miles of another summer meal site. So rural community, got to be 50% free or reduced eligible where you're doing this. And you can't be within 2 miles of another summer meal site. Betty, how can they find out where? If they're
Well,
eligible?
that's where absolutely there's some great resources.
Okay.
USDA actually has a definition as what is rural. So they can go to the USDA rural map and put their county in and where their location is and find out if they meet that definition and requirement. Secondly, the USDA area eligibility map will help them confirm whether they are eligible to have a meal site in that particular area. And then to look at the TDA past meal sites, both congregate and non-congregate summer meals, is a great place to actually look at who else has done some of these meals and maybe use that to connect and do some outreach and connect and network with those folks to get some best practices.
Okay, so we're looking at three different maps. We're looking at the rural non-congregate map, so it tells you if you qualify for rural, right? We're looking at the eligibility map to make sure that your location is 50% or more free and reduced. And we're looking at maps to make sure you're not within 2 miles of previous locations. So when you decide to do it, you're probably not going to be close, less than 2 miles from the other location. We'll make sure to put those maps, link them at the bottom, so you can click on them and really figure out how best you can utilize this program and if you qualify for it. Any other resources people ought to be looking at, Betty?
Yes, I'd like to point them to the TDA resources. I'm sure many folks use their resources, but look at them often because they update with webinars. They provide FAQs, particular programs, and that you can get questions answered readily right there on the website. And then there's a great toolkit for this non-congregate programming that you need to really check out and get all the information you need right there spelled out.
TBA has done a really great job about putting out those resources. I've looked at that FAQ and I've looked at the webinars. I will tell you, those FAQs go into extreme detail, answering very specific questions. So if you've got something you're really thinking about might be different or unique to you, check out the FAQs. Chances are they've addressed it for somebody else already. I also invite you to reach out to either myself or to Betty if you're looking at doing this and you have some outreach questions and how you might be able to make this work and function. I also encourage you to talk to your education service centers. ESCs have some incredible staff dedicated to working specifically on child nutrition programs. Technical assistance, if you got a technical question, they're more than happy to answer it. They're wonderful folks who really are knowledgeable about these programs. And third, reach out to TDA. They're a great support. So reach out to Betty and I, reach out to ESCs. You got the TDA there. You got a bunch of resources. So we're linking not just the three maps, we're also going to have all the TDA resources we talked about linked below. And so I think those are great. What do you think, Betty?
I think this has been great, and I hope that y'all have enjoyed listening to what we've shared today and encourage you to utilize these resources. And like John said, we're here if you want more information, but please consider that non-congregate option to feed your kids this summer in the community.
Thanks. That's wonderful information. If you can, please take advantage of these programs. If you like the video, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on that notification bell. We're doing more of these and we will make sure you know when we post something new. Leave a comment. Let us know what other topics you'd like us to talk about and what you'd like for us to cover. And make sure you share this with your friends and family. But on behalf of Betty and myself, we thank you for being here and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thanks.